Oh, yes, legends. How's everybody doing? Hope you're doing fantastic. Let's analyze the situation here for the price of Bitcoin on the higher time frame, lower time frame. We're even doing 3-minute time frame, guys, today. We are going to be looking for some internal scalp trading setups in today's live stream, okay? We're going to keep this often to look for scalp intraday scenarios, guys, because this is what the people want. People want action, and this is what we are going to focus on, okay? From now forward, make sure to destroy that like button, guys, on your way in. Smash it up right away, and let's say hello to the beautiful community, okay? The price of Bitcoin looking very, very interesting where it is right now. We could arguably discuss that there is a chance for bullish momentum. Just a little bit of bullish momentum. There is a chance. Of course, there is that chance eventually for a lower high in this region, okay? We'll be discussing the levels right now in the next coming minutes, okay? We are coming into some interesting areas of resistance. Just a basic little tap of the support resistance flip, right? Anybody that wants some basic stuff. However, this movement to the downside is very, very interesting. We did get a movement down in the 3-minute, 1-minute time frame. A bit of a three-waver, which is looking pretty interesting at this moment, right? We've got the drop down here with the news event that we had today, and now we're overlapping this range over here, which is not making it too great for this to be bearish, okay? A bit of a three-waver move down. We overlapped above the first lower high, and that, my friends, is not looking too great, okay, for a lower high at this region. Just because of this information, right? We need to be very adaptive with what is happening, okay? Of course, there is a chance still eventually. You know, this does look like a bit of a three-wave move to the upside. There is a chance, without a doubt, that this could have been the ABC movement. That's it, three-wave structure. We're looking for the price to nuke down. Is there a possibility? Well, absolutely. When we do zoom out on the slightly higher time frames, we are downtrending eventually, and this already could be a zone of rejection. Speculating on the most bearish case scenario that we did talk about yesterday, which is multiple 1-2 setups, right? Multiple 1-2s where we're just forming a third 1-2, right? You got 1-2, 1-2, 1 and 2. Do we see rejection at this point? Rollover already in a third wave? Or does the bullish case scenario have a chance, right? The bullish case scenario eventually is looking for this contracting diagonal to finish that ABC flat. A lot of Elliott wave, a lot of, oh man, this is too much for my brain, okay? However, we need to take it into consideration. We'll be talking and discussing this today, okay? A little bit of Elliott wave theory, higher time frame scenarios. What would be a confirmation for this to happen? Okay, for me, it's pretty simple. Looking at the 1 hourly time frame, what do we need to see for this to happen? This is staying a bit optimistic, but anybody that, you know, yesterday, without a doubt, you got a bit of choppiness in this range. It was slowing down after a big move. I got some people messaging me yesterday, okay, on the live stream, saying that they've entered at 87K-ish for a short. And I'm like, man, you want to take some profits eventually. You want to be defensive. It's not the greatest level to enter a short position, okay? Because if you have a big volume move to the downside and you're already slowing down, that points out that you could get a reversal bounce, right? Now we got the bounce. We are downtrending. The movements down are aggressive. Bang, right? Move to the upside. Bang, back down, right? And the bouncers seem to form lower highs, right? The bouncers seem to want to form lower highs. Will we get that lower high in this region? We're going to discuss that today, guys. Quickly go through the comment section, say hello to the beautiful community. We have some news as well that I want to go through. Well, we did have some news just about an hour ago, which was non-farm payrolls, retail sales. We got a bit of local volatility, nothing too major. S&P 500 going to the downside. News that we do have on Thursday is interesting. We've got some Wednesday news also, retail sales also. And on Thursday, we do have inflation rate, and that is probably going to bring a bit more of local volatility. Let's go through the comment section, say hello to the legends, and we'll dive in through some intraday local setups, okay? This is why we're here. We are here today to look for some intraday setups, live trading scenarios, guys. It's about time. People want to see scalps. They want to see intraday setups. And I come from an intraday day trade scalp background. I've chilled a little bit more with that, going into more swing trades, a little bit more chilled for a few days. But I think the audience wants a little bit of action, just like we did a few years ago. And that's what we're going to do, okay? If you like that, smash up the like button and we'll dive in through the comment section. Quick hello to the beautiful community. Steven Stone, good morning. How are you doing? Hi, guys. Mohammed, what's going on, brother? Let's see what's going to happen. Exactly. Much love, Path. Oh, yes. Oh, yes. Meds, how are you doing? Hello, Mohammed. Worth Risk. Good morning, mate. Much love to you, brother. Yoav, Patron, let's go. Yo, Simon Jones, how are you doing? Let's play the Ibiza tune. Absolutely. Let's go. Mike, legend. How are you doing, brother? Mike, press the like button for Andy. Absolutely legend. Thank you very much for the support. Hey, hello, legends. Let's go, legend. Let's go, legends. Hello, Reza. How are you doing? Matthew, morning. Mohammed, 88.5k is good level to short, guys. Maybe that's a question we can analyze. Andy short at 88.7. Yeah, absolutely. I think we're going to discuss a few scenarios. Hello, Andy, and everyone else. Suzanne, much love to you. Thanks for joining. Nice to see you here. Where are the likes? Much love. Andy, thanks for being here for us. You are the best YouTuber for me. Thank you very much, my man. There's many out there. All right. Many people use different strategies, different ways of analyzing. I can be very tiring because of Elliott wave theory. Not everybody follows Elliott wave theory, but that's like, for me, it's the cherry on top, Elliott wave theory, okay? Especially when you're considering more of a chilled way of trading, looking for, kind of bigger movements, a little bit of, higher time frame analysis. We like to do the 1 hour, 50 minute eventually to look for the intraday entry zones, but it's very hard to follow through, okay? Without a doubt, it's hard to follow and understand the probability sides of the different moves. And that's what we try to do eventually, right? 74k bottom. We need to get there first, right? We need to get there first. Overall, on the higher time frame, the probabilities are very, very high, guys, to come down to 80.5k at some point in the near future for this to be the low, right, of the bear market, and to go to all-time high from here is a low probability, unfortunately, guys, okay, based on the information that we do have on this price action, okay? So we can discuss the different scenarios. There is that local bullish case, which is the only one that I can figure out, okay? There is, let's go level by level here. Let's go step by step. But there is this one right over here. This has been very optimistic, okay? Very, very optimistic for this scenario. And this scenario is leading the way, right? This is leading the way for the moment. We don't have many bullish options. Of course, when you analyze this scenario, which is just a regular double zigzag up, okay? Corrective zigzag in a wave X. And then your high here, wave A, complex sideways correction in your wave B, and then your wave C here to finish your zigzag, your last zigzag move to the upside. Double zigzag, corrective structure, nice and easy and simple, right? If you want to say, okay, there is a possibility of that being the high here at 94.6k, which was the highs here from the 9th of November. And just going with the trend, going with the overall higher time frame trend, and going with this local trend from the last week, right? Which is down, right? It is down. What can we say? And the only option that I see anyway, first of all, guys, muy importante. It's muy importante here for me to have this big disclaimer here that, this content is for educational purpose only, okay? Not financial advice. You get the deal. Super important that you understand this, okay? Now, said that, we can go aggressive. Like, I think this is going to happen. I think that's going to happen, right? Well, overall, the trend is your friend on the higher time frame. This has the very much potential to finish the bear flag. We've broken the trend line. Is there any bear, bull trap, bear trap, sorry, possibility here, right? We've broken trend. Come on, that's it, right? Any trend line breakers, right? Trend line traders, breakout traders, would just really obviously go with, this is breaking down, right? We're just ready for the rollover. But we've seen it many, many times, right? We need to understand any bullish scenario, right? As an analyst, you always need to have a bullish and a bearish case scenario, right? You just need to have both sides of the face. And this would be a possible bear trap, okay? Breakout, right? We've seen it many times before where you just break a trend. It looks like it's going to continue to the downside, and the price decides to come all the way up to sweep up the highs to claim the liquidity, stop everybody out that is entering shorts very aggressively and not responsible and adding to the shorts and what's so not, right? I have to say, the bullish case scenario, does have low probability till proven otherwise, right? Which would be this one right over here. Double zigzag. However, instead of counting this as a zigzag up, zigzag down, zigzag here, finishing right there, and you have multiple 1-2s ready for the breakdown, well, what you have is all of this being the zigzag in your wave W, and you are finishing a flat in your wave X. You can count a 3-wave move down. Very, very complex 3-wave move to the upside here, which begins with a flat, then a triangle, and then a very sharp zigzag to the upside. Okay, very, very, very complex, I have to say, but it's more of a 3-waver to the upside, this movement here. So, going through the this scenario, this is the only chance that we have for the local bulls. A contracting diagonal. Your invalidation is sitting at $84,000. I have to say that the chance is there. The chance is there, but it's very, very hard to get into some long positions here at the lows. Yesterday, it is aggressive. We came down to the levels of support. We understood that this is a zone of support. Point of control daily. We got a bit of price action here happening in this zone and slowing down. Now a little bounce. If you ask me, I prefer the lower high. This is why we're going to go through the lower time frames, and we're going to discuss here eventually the possibility of forming another 1-2 here. Okay, and what would be the confirmation for the bulls? What would be a level that if hit, I would be very interested in longs, guys. I would be very interested in swing longs just to get above 94.6k. And then eventually I would be interested in looking for short positions once we get into this area. That's if that happens, okay? Which I have to say, it can definitely happen, right? Let's just say there is a chance here. To get into that long position yesterday, when this was explained yesterday, we treat it as an aggressive long. We got a movement down here, very aggressive. Man, when you have the big movement with volume, it is very common to start chopping here, slow down. Okay, that's what usually happens. So that's what happened right over here. You got the high, the recent lower high right there, which is from Monday, and then a lower high here, and then a lower high right there, boom, 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 right? And then here you're slowing down. That's the moment that you can speculate on longs. I mean, it's a very, very difficult entry. With taking this into consideration, this scenario, which I know, guys, it looks silly at this moment when you're breaking the trend, right? But this would be a surprise pump. It would be a surprise, surprise movement, right? Everybody would be like, wow, what the hell happened, right? Well, there is a valid scenario here. And, you've got two options to get into a trade here. You're either longing aggressively here yesterday. We got a bit of choppiness and, you're keeping stop loss. It's just a hard trade, I have to say. at the invalidation of this scenario, which is $84,000, and you treat this as a possible swing that could take many, many days to develop eventually, but you don't want to risk too much. You're bearish, you're downtrending. You know, the best option to look for the trade on this scenario is literally coming all the way up to invalidate that wave 2, which is right over here, that multiple 1-2 setup where you have a wave 1, wave 2, wave 1, wave 2. And this, if you are looking for the most bearish case scenario, which is we are downtrending, we need to understand that this would have priority, right? This would have priority. Reject between the 50% and the 7-8 Fibonacci from your last wave 2, okay, to the end of the third wave 1. All right, this would be the zone of rejection for this wave, third wave 2, right? And your hard invalidation is literally 90k. You do not want the price to hit 90k. So we're just at 50% at the moment. We're hitting those lows. It is still an aggressive, pretty aggressive entry, but we are downtrending, so we need to understand that, you know, this zone becomes interesting managing risk. It's a bit more of a swing trade setup, but yeah, you need to consider that this area is the lower high zone, right? And this is why we're going to go through the lower time frame to try and discuss what the hell is this bounce that we're getting here. Is there anything bullish about it, or is it bearish? Okay, so we need to discuss that right away in the next coming minutes, legends. All right, a bit optimistic this scenario, I have to say, a bit optimistic, but what we would have to see is a solid move to the upside that gets to 90k. That's the moment that this will look pretty damn good. If we hit that level, man, any type of correction here, you know, that eventually would be the golden zone, right, to get in, because without a doubt, if we do hit that lower high, you know, this would be the zone that I would be very, very interested in looking for the longs to take out 95k. That would increase the probabilities, even though it might not make any sense here for you guys, but for people that are, you know, don't have the knowledge. But I would consider that being the opportunity. Okay, we can go into detail with that scenario, but we are going to go through the lower time frame and discuss a little bit of this price action. Okay, very, very choppy, very noisy, I have to say. It is very, very noisy, this price action, my goodness. But we can figure out some things. We can figure out some things here. All right. Yeah, let's go through comment section for those people that are joining. Afternoon, Daniel Singleton. What's up, my man? Much love to you. 300k incoming in 2026. Man, 69k max pain. Yeah, I mean, as an investor as well, without a doubt, you know, I would consider buying some Bitcoin below 80k. I'm actually happy to buy Bitcoin below $80,000 as spot bags again, guys. I think I'm going to start DCAing below 80k. Obviously, I think we could go down to 60, 50k maybe in the bear market, but I think it's already a great zone to start accumulating without a doubt. You know, Bitcoin's going to get a new rally in the next coming years. It's going to get above the all-time high at some point, and I think risk to reward, we know Bitcoin can literally double in a year, right? And you know, this is a pretty significant correction. So I do have some disturbing cash on the sidelines that, man, we are probably going to get quantitative easing in 2026, and man, if you have a lot of cash it's going to devalue, right? Cash devalues. Right now, inflation is at about 3%, I think, US. We you know, who knows how it can be in next year, right? It might spike up to 5-10% again at some point, and that eventually is not good, right? Not good. toilet paper, right? You know, don't want to hold toilet paper for too long. So if we do get a bit of more downside, I'm happy to buy some more Bitcoin at below 80k. Want to get rid of that toilet paper without a doubt. So anyway, let's go right away. Are you drunk? Who's drunk? 2026 is the bear market. BTC at 40, 50k, 300k ish in 27, 28. That's, you know, considering the 4-year cycle theory, without a doubt. You're right. We should bottom out to the end of the year of 2026. 40, 50k, man. 40k would be a steal, man, for price for Bitcoin. Man, if we went to 40k, you always need to have some cash reserves. I like to sit on cash as well, always, since I did not have any cash on the C19 crash in 2020. Okay. I started in crypto in 2018. I invested a lot, and I went down with the C19 crash, over 70% down on my portfolio, and I didn't have enough cash to buy back, okay, that crash, which is a lesson learned, right? This was over 5 years ago right now, and since then, I like to obviously not only, you know, have assets, you know, I like to sit on cash as well for any major opportunities. Andy, every 2 minutes, I get publicity for a single woman looking up for a man here on the live stream. Much love, my man. Oh, man, your algorithm is messed up. Let's go 100, 203k and go to 60k. Yeah, that is also a possibility. I like that idea. This comes with the bullish case scenario. Put on mascara. Hi, are we bullish or bearish, guys? Doesn't matter. We're gonna make money anyways. Absolutely, my man. Let's go through the someone here in the comment section. I like that point of view. 102 and 103k and then go to 60k. This would actually bring a very large WXY structure. If we, you know, considering the bullish case, which I have to say, you know, it is possible, right? Where you're having a double zigzag, but it's larger, it's going to be very rangy. I think there's a lot of eyes looking at this movement down to be bearish, and the main scenario would be this one right over here. This one right over here. Hang on a minute, I have another scenario, which is, yeah, this one. This one would be the main scenario, okay, which is an impulsive move to the downside. This stands as the main scenario. However, if the price has to form the other scenario, which is a larger WXY, you know, we don't have much room to the downside. 84k is the invalidation. If 84k is hit, you know, the probabilities are just very, very high that, you know, the high is in, local high is in at 94k, and we are looking for the drop below $80,000. So on the higher time frame, we still have that internal bullish case scenario, which is bearish at the end of the day, because a WXY is corrective structure. You would not expect the price to go to higher levels after a correction here. This is literally a finished double zigzag. But what it would invalidate the impulsive move to the downside, which is this one, because you are already entering into the territory here of invalidation, which is literally coming to the golden pocket. If we consider this a double 1-2, right? Golden pocket is 97k, and you know, if we go to slightly higher levels, eventually 102, 103, like somebody said, which has the potential on that target for the double zigzag, going to the 100k levels, then we would have to switch this, you know, this scenario, which is invalidated, we would have to turn it automatically into a 3-wave structure, which would be this one right over here, impulsive move in wave A, sideways complex, either WXY or running flat, and then this is the big move that was a solid impulse. Okay, very, very countable 5-wave structure in this zone on the lower time frames, and this would be a 3-wave structure if the price manages to get above $97,000. However, this would only bring a larger corrective structure, either a zigzag down, WXY, okay, and then another zigzag to the downside, which points out that view. Somebody said here in the comment section, we go to 102, 103k zone, and then we go to 60k. That would be a double zigzag in a WXY. We're not looking at this as an impulse. And if the price were to form such price action, holy smokes, guys, this is going to be the all-in territory. This is going to be the territory where it's gonna, I'm going to go all in on, not all in, but based on spot buys. That is if that is going to be the structure that is going to be developed in the next coming months, right? This is looking at the 4-hourly time frame and speculating on the local bullish case scenario, which is getting above 97k, even the 100k zone, which would be very interesting for shorts without a doubt, considering that this would be a WXY double zigzag. But I mean, this is higher time frame, right? We would have to form a higher low from 84k. If you ask me, there's no major signs for that to happen. Okay, but obviously you need to consider it. This is the main leading scenario. This is the leading scenario right over here. Okay, which you're literally forming an impulse to the downside, which is not finished. Your largest move to the downside has been this one right over here. Okay. And that's where you always want to label the largest move out of the waves that you have as your wave 3, right? This would be 1, 2, 1, 2, perfect. Your second 1, 2 is smaller. The wave 3, and then wave 4s are usually long and complex. This is being a very, very complex uptrend, and we have the potential of it being a double zigzag. And now we're just building multiple 1-2s to just nuke down 3, 4, 5, 4, 5, finish the 5th wave structure, and just continue the downtrend, right? Just continue the bear market. So this, for the moment, I mean, hey, it has priority, right? This scenario has priority for the moment, until we find certain scenarios on the lower time frame, which is what we're going to do, of course. Okay, we're going to look for internal scalp day trade setups. Okay, no rush to get into trades, but we're going to look for internal scalp day trade opportunities without a doubt in the next coming minutes. Okay, it's just a little bit of higher time frame possibilities here. So yeah, considering the bearish case, which has priority, I have to say it does have priority. There's no major signs for this to be multiple 1-2s on the building. No major signs on that, I have to say, with a local price action. And, looking for this bounce to be corrective, which is what we're going to do, so we can follow up on the finished correction, double zigzag, multiple 1-2s here. Has to be the game for continuation down. If you take out $90,000, we have a very, very good chance you're breaking the downtrend structure. Only looking at the analysis on the structure. Structure is the number one thing, guys. You can use whatever you want, but structure is the main game here when we're looking at reversals, right? And basically trading. If we were to get above $90,000, which is this lower high right over here, it's going to be looking very, very good for the price to take out 95k. It's going to be looking pretty damn good, I have to say. But you need to get to 90k first, and then any correction, the movements down need to be very, very studied to look for that swing. Well, it will be a swing trade because it will last quite a bit of time. Your stop loss has to be the lows here. And, depending, you need to hit the highs eventually. You need to hit the highs in some kind of an impulsive move throughout the next coming days. And we're talking about the opportunity here, right? We're not saying that this is going to happen, but anybody that's feeling bullish, unless you longed from lower, longing in this area, considering the bearish case, 1 2 1 2 1 2, is a little bit risky eventually. It is risky to long here. You would rather look for shorts in this zone to claim the lows and break down with the possibility of coming to 80k, right? Follow the momentum, as they say, and longing right over here. I kind of like to go a little bit against the grain, okay? I do like to go a little bit against the grain, and this is why we talk about bullish scenarios. I am considering this scenario. I am considering it. However, unless you longed here on the choppiness down at support levels, which is from this cluster right over here, right, where we do have the point of control, the daily, right, it's just a bit of volatility. We're slowing down here. That's the moment that you want to take action for the long position, because if not, you need to wait for a solid impulse and get some invalidations on the bearish case scenario on the higher time frame. And I know which one it is. There's no doubt that hitting this lower high at $90,000 will invalidate the multiple 1-2, okay? Because you want to see a lower high in this region. So this is why it's going to be quite crucial eventually. If you do form some kind of an impulsive move here, that movement down, this region is going to be the opportunity entry zone to speculate on that movement to the upside, with the potential of hitting 95k plus. So it's either long in here on the exhaustion at levels of support, or it's actually getting that 5-wave move up, invalidating the bearish case, multiple 1-2s, and eventually looking at this for the opportunity zone to get the third wave to the upside, right? So you need a bit of time, and for that you just need that movement up and that correction. Looking at the bearish case, which is the most obvious one, right? The trend is your friend. Stop talking about bullish scenarios. If we are downtrending and we are bearish, well, let me just tell you, the bearish case scenario is this one right over here. And because this did not get follow through, because this movement did not get follow through, did not break down and continue to the downside, we got supported from this cluster, and it's already overlapping this pivot. There's only one option here for this, and that is 1-2, 1-2, 1-2, another 1-2 before you actually get the breakdown in a wave 3 in the coming days. So your zone of rejection, we're literally at it right now, which is the 50% to the 7/8 Fibonacci. 50% being tapped. That's the one that's getting the reaction with that pivot low from Monday, acting as resistance here ever so slightly, as we can see. So let's go dive in through the lower time frame and try and analyze the internal movements that are looking they are looking very overlappy and very corrective, I have to say. It does look very corrective. We're going to study the potential, the possibilities here for this to be bullish, which in my opinion, it is a very, very overlappy bouncing zone. Your only bullish scenario here would be a wave 1, wave 2, wave 1, wave 2, right? And you end up breaking out in a third wave here. There is a situation here without a doubt, based on that scenario, which is your second wave 1 is already 1.6 times longer, so it's more common for a wave 3. However, this is overlap, so yeah, it does point out that there is a very, very good chance for this to be the correction. Just an A, B, C, A, B, and C right there on the C wave. You do have a bit of a 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So it does look pretty nice for a 3-wave move up. What is disturbing is this movement to the downside. That's disturbing without a doubt. So a little bit of choppiness and confusion here. Maybe the range could continue for a little bit. We're going to go through the 3-minute time frame here. We are going to go even at the 3-minute time frame at the moment to talk about this momentum, which is, I have to say, it's a bit choppy, it's a bit overlappy, it's a bit noisy. It is a bit noisy. It is a little bit noisy, but the bears need to defend. They literally need to defend this zone over here. This zone needs to be defended. The 50% to the 7/8 Fibonacci is the defensive zone for the bears to claim the lows here. I have to say, also, when we do take a look at the price action, I would have preferred for this low to be hit, if I'm honest with you here. This is why it would have been much easier for this low to be hit, to consider a proper 5-wave move down here. The fact that we did not sweep up the lows, this is an interesting double bottom area. I talked about this in the pro community. It would have been an interesting double bottom to take a chance based on a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. The fact that we did not claim this low of yesterday is, very, very disturbing, because that has the potential of turning this into a 3-wave move. The fact that we have a lower high right over here at 90k here, this was on Monday. The fact that we have a lower high, and then you have this 1, 2, 3, a small little 4, and then a 5. I would not label this as your wave 4, as a 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, right? It's like looking for something that is not really there, which is eventually disturbing, that could turn this into a 3-wave structure. And as this could be a 3-wave structure, there is definitely a problem here. There is definitely a problem, and this has the potential of being the low. Even though you don't believe it. So, it's not an for this to be a wave 4 already. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and then 5. It is extending a little bit. I think it would still be inside of the timing zone. So when we compare your first wave to your wave 2 right over here, and then your wave 4, you're still in the time zone. Now, as long as you're not 4 or 5 times longer, that would be tonight at 10 p.m. UAE time. As long as you are still behind this area of timing, we're still pretty okay for this actually to be a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So yeah, it did look like this was going to be a bit overextended. So I would even go with the 4th wave invalidation, which is a golden pocket. It is, I would say there is a chance, there is a shorting chance here at the 50%. You got a tight stop loss at the golden pocket, and you're looking to target the lows here again. That would be still very valid to complete a 5-wave structure. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 4th wave is a little bit long, I have to say, but it is common for wave 4s to be long. This does look more like a 3-wave corrective structure. The bullish case scenario would be 1, 2, 1, 2, and this, builds up and it breaks in a third wave, that's the moment that you do not want to participate eventually if you are going to get some kind of a third wave move up. So this is what makes more sense for the moment. Follow the trend. The trend is down. The bigger moves are to the downside. The movements up are very staircasey. So having that hopium of a multiple 1-2 and breakout here, you always need to be aware eventually of the bullish case, but this is why you have invalidations, you have good risk management, and it does look like that this has the priority at the moment. Okay, looking at the information that we do have on the chart. Looking at session VWAP, I think session VWAP got a little bounce today with this movement. I'm very sure if the day's opened here, yeah, just wicked on the VWAP. Not an easy clean long, I have to say, any VWAP traders. But yeah, this does look like the main scenario at the moment. Okay, get that movement down to come to 85.2k. This does look more corrective. The only way I can fit here something bullish would be a multiple 1-2, which, your second wave one is longer than your first one. It fits better as a ABC structure. Big move down. 1, 2, 3. Fourth wave still in the time zone of the wave 2. Wave 4s are usually longer. We would have to give priority to that scenario. So to come down and claim the lows of yesterday. Yeah, not much that we can discuss here on the 5-minute time frame. A bit of crazy local volatility. The one thing that I do not like about this movement down, which is making my eyes bleed, is move down, sideways, move down. It's a very, very three-wavy move to the downside. Which eventually gives you that chance to take out the local highs, especially we've hit the 0.88 Fibonacci right now here. So sweeping up the local highs, I would class this as a good SFP level. Let's see if we do sweep up those local highs, and we could consider the swing failure pattern from the local highs. Okay, we've got a little bit of an order block here on the 3-minute, 5-minute. For all of those scalpers. Let's see, the fact that we moved down in a 3-wave structure here and got this movement up all the way up to the 0.88 is disturbing. It is disturbing. So yeah, local intraday setup, I'm going to say that the local double top here is without a doubt an option for me here. Okay, we've got that 5-minute order block, which is right over here. Let's put that order block from the highs to the lows and extend this all the way to local price action. And let's get that Fibonacci retracement. Golden pockets, 5-minute order block. There's a scalp short. It's either a double top from recent highs. Interesting area. Those are the sniper trades that I do see to enter right now on Bitcoin. So we could get this in the next coming minutes. I want to see those highs being hit. I want to see if those highs are broken. The level is the top of the order block right over there at 88,182. That's the lower high of the order block, and it's coming in with the with the golden pocket Fibonacci right from the recent highs of yesterday. Golden pocket, top of the order block. It's either double top from this wick or the golden pocket here at 88.1k, and that's bringing a first major rejection. It's a good entry. That's the zone that I'm going to be looking at here. Let's see if we do get that, unless we roll over eventually from here. But yeah, these are the interesting levels. Longs are not going to be an easy task here. Of course, on the lower time frame, there is higher probability in taking out those highs. Okay, there is slightly higher probability in taking these local highs here, legends, which is 87.8k. And the main reason why we got high probability on the lower time frame to actually hit those highs, which is why I'm doubting here the reversal, legends. I am doubting the reversal from this point to actually, break down already to 85.2k, is because of the price action that we got here. The rejection is very three-wavy. With this bounce coming to this region, already tells me that this is not an impulse down. We come all the way up to the 0.88 Fibonacci, almost taking out this high. Yeah, there is higher probability locally here to take out those highs at some point. Then we could possibly look for the rejection. So, yeah, unfortunately, I don't see any major good long opportunities here. VWAP has been tapped with this aggressive move down. This is a very, very aggressive long. Tap the weaker VWAP, get above it, right? You know the deal on the VWAP. You get above it, stop loss at the low. You would be targeting the highs here, literally. But VWAP has been tapped already today after getting away from it. So a second VWAP tap could be interesting. A second VWAP tap could be interesting, actually. Let's take a look at today's levels. Daily open is where we got today's open, basically. That's where we got the support. That's where we did get the bounce. Double VWAP tap for the scalp long. Based on, we have a three-wave down. We got to the 0.88, coming down here to the local golden pocket with the VWAP. Could be a scalp long to the highs, right? It's you might think, well, this is a three-wave. We're going to go down. We're looking for intraday scalping scenarios. We're managing risk. A double tap of the VWAP is optional as well. This would be the invalidation. Let's see if we do get that reaction here. And the only main reason I'm going to give a chance for this scenario is because we have a three-wave down and we've hit the 0.88. If you can count a three-wave move down and you've hit the 0.88 Fibonacci here, there is a good chance that the price takes out this high. And, eventually we're going to have to figure out here how that high is taken. My SFP. It might break up here. We got the previous day value area high, which is interesting. Anybody aware about the previous day value area high? We've got the session volume profile. That's yesterday's value area high range, which is sitting at 88.3k. That is also at the top of this 5-minute order block, which is interesting eventually with the golden pocket from yesterday's highs to the lows. That's an interesting rejection point without a doubt. 88.2, 88.3k zone. So let's see here. I mean, this is 3-minute time frame. We need to take this with a pinch of salt. Daily open already got supported today with the VWAP fake out. Secondary test is a very much a possibility. Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Very possible. Let's see. Especially if we do get local bullish CVD divergence, which we do have. We got some local bullish CVDs, baby, and that eventually is good. That is good. Oh wow, yeah, we got some pretty decent good bullish CVDs here. It's making it. We are uptrending today. It is an uptrend. The question is, obviously, do we get that uptrend finishing at the moment and rolling over? So we need to manage risk eventually very, very well. But you do have lower lows right there, more lower lows on CVD very, very aggressively from this point on all exchanges. Lots of shorts entering here. You're getting local bullish CVD divergence on Bybit right now at this point. So yeah, a chance of a higher low to take those highs is very much there. It is very much there. So we're going to be analyzing that scenario right over here. Would be nice to come down here to the VWAP and to the golden pocket, see if we do get that wick down. It's going to be an aggressive long. But this is why you need to also understand, you know, why would I have probabilities here for this trade? And the simple answer is, you know, this is a poor high. It's a poor high because you have a 3-wave down and movement up to the 0.88. That is usually not preferred. I mean, it can happen eventually, but it's not preferred for this to be the high and roll over. You know, you would be looking for the range to continue and potentially take out this high, and then obviously the high could be broken on OSFP, which is what we need to see here. Okay, but for the moment being, you know, I do see a good chance for those local highs to be hit at 87.8k. So yeah, let's see if we do get a little bit of a squeeze, bit more of a squeeze to the downside here. Obviously we got VWAP as support, the daily open. Let's set an alert right there, just above the VWAP, just to get a possible better entry. And obviously an alert here at the highs to see how we react at this zone for a good entry and good risk management. Let's go right away, guys. Guys, good to long with big stop loss. Big stop loss. That doesn't sound good. That doesn't sound good. That comment doesn't sound good. Good to long with a big stop loss. We want to keep a small stop loss. Bullish CVDs, but open interest in flat is flat. We need more new positions. Very, very true. We haven't checked open interest. Open interest is pretty damn flat. That is for sure. As Divine Hood is saying here, very, very flat. Open interest. We're looking for internal local moves. Is bull run officially over? I would have to say yes. Okay, I would have to say yes. All of the scenarios, unfortunately, my man, all of the scenarios point out that we are either in a very, very long corrective structure, which, you know, we're either in an impulse down, which is not finished yet, okay, which is this one right over here. We're either in this impulsive move where we have a 1 2 1 2 3, your wave 4, very long, choppy, overlappy, very confusing, very common for a wave 4. And, you know, we're eventually not finished, right, with this impulse that could take us below 80k and, you know, even below 75k in the next coming weeks. You know, all-time high, I don't think so, guys, for the end of the year. Santa rally, we might get a Santa rally, but the problem with the rally here is this structure. We have a very, very big issue here for this to be a multiple 1 2, right, or the start of a bullish structure to get a third wave and 4 and 5. You know, it's literally very, 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 very low probability at this point for this to happen and get an impulse from here. And, you know, the main reason why, we can explain that, of course. We want the explanation, right? Why is it low probability? You know, explain it. Well, when we consider this an impulse, if we were to consider this movement up an impulse, which we can, the fact that we have separated rallies here, you know, you can count a expanding wave 1, wave 2, wave 3, wave 4, wave 5. You know, you can fit an impulse in this zone. There's other ways to find an impulse here as well, if you go like into the 15-minute and like go into detail, but we're not going to do that. But there is ways of counting this as an impulse. Eventually you got your 3-wave move down, and then your big spike to the upside, right? The big move up here. So we would have to label this as your wave 1 and wave 2. This can clearly be counted as an impulse, right? This movement to the upside, clearly an impulse right over here. And if we are considering right now, because, you know, obviously we need to count all of this as the correction for the wave 2, right? Wave 1, then wave 2. The problem is here eventually is your second wave 2, right, is much longer than your first wave 2, and that significantly decreases the probability for this to be the start of a new bullish structure to like break out in a third wave in the next coming week. So there's low probability in a wave 3 here to develop, and if we are looking for this to move up in the next coming weeks, it would highly likely still be a corrective structure. Okay, it would have to be a double zigzag, just because the double 1-2 has lower probability, because your second 2 is very long in time compared to your first wave 2, and that is it is just low probability. You know, when we do take a look at multiple 1-2s, I mean, obviously in the 4-hourly time frame in this uptrend, we can find a few, right? This one right over here. It doesn't really matter which one you consider, from this low or from this low. Doesn't really matter. You had a possible triangle in this zone as a sideways WXY. Doesn't really matter. But what I want to let you know, what I want to explain to you, is you can see here, even if this is your first wave 1 and 2, or this is your first one, your second and third one gets smaller and smaller. As you can see, they get smaller and smaller till you actually pop out, right, in a wave 3. You don't have your second or your third wave 2s longer, right? That's just low probability. It's not the common thing to see. So when we zoom in here and we look at Fibonacci time, that anybody that's curious about looking at the timing, when you get Fibonacci time tool here, which is the 5th tab, trend based fib time, and you get your potential wave 2 here, first wave 2, which is from this high to this low, and then you get the start of wave 2, which is from this point. You know, we can already see that this possible second wave 2, right, 1, 2, 1 and 2 is 4 times longer than your first wave 2. So I mean, this is like very low probability, right? It's just not something that we're not even considering it, guys. You know, if we move up, I mean, at least myself, if we were to get that movement up in the next coming weeks, the highest probability scenario is looking for this scenario here, an extended WXY zigzag up, ABC flat, the C wave in a contracting diagonal, and then a zigzag up here throughout the next coming weeks. Still very possible. The way of identifying this, guys, you know, unless you longed and you were brave yesterday, you know, we need a bit of structure here on the higher time frame to consider a swing long, right? You need that bounce, you need that 5-wave move up, you need to get above 90k, okay, which is your invalidation for the multiple 1-2s here, which are getting smaller. That's nice. You need to get above this last lower high. That's the moment where we could give a chance here eventually for the double zigzag. So you need a 5-wave impulse to get above 90k. The correction is going to be very lucrative to get above 95k, right? This is where that you're looking for the long positions all the way up to above 95k, you know, potentially 100k, right? We'll see. Obviously, that's a little bit of wishful thinking at this moment, but you know, it is there. There is a chance, but yeah, we need a lot of information to consider that. Now, for the moment, the scenario that has priority, without a doubt, is this one. This has priority. Double zigzag up, 1 2 1 2 1 2. You know, it just looks like it's a matter of time that we do get that big move, which everything points out it's likely going to be to the downside, right? Will it be in the next? You know, will it be today? Will it be tomorrow? Will it be with on Friday with the interest rate hike from Japan? Even though, you know, it's kind of priced in, a lot of people saying, right? But this, for the moment, is what has priority, and it would seem right? I wouldn't be surprised if we do get that breakdown in the next coming days, right? 1112, big move down, and then obviously we chop right there, you know, below $80,000. It just fits nicely, right? It fits nicely. We got the dead cat bounce, very, very staircase, overlappy structure. You know, we shouldn't be surprised if we get that big move of $4,000 or $5,000, you know, or $10,000, right, in the next coming days to the downside. It shouldn't be a surprise because based on the chart, it's the momentum that we're following, right? We need to give the bulls a chance, which is the local bulls at least to take 95k, which is the scenario that we mentioned, right, in the last few minutes, right, which is that that double zigzag. We're currently forming that flat, the C wave in a contracting diagonal, which your invalidation is 84k. Once 84k is tapped, then yeah, we're just likely going to take out those lows at 80.5k. This is a bit of wishful thinking for this scenario, but it is a possibility. And the best long trade for that, what can I say? The best long trade for that, unless you're looking at the lower time frames yesterday, which this is where it becomes interesting. When you get the big move and you start chopping here, that's coming into levels of support, right, and reclaiming them. That's where it becomes interesting for a larger bounce, and this is the zone where you're looking for that reversal. But when you're having a falling knife like that with high volume, you need some kind of a slowdown. When it slows down and it claims the lows but choppy, that's when you can look for, you know, some long positions at levels of support. You know, longing on a falling knife like this with high volume and increasing and still momentum going down. This is the slowdown, right? You've got a big elevator down, and then you got a little bit of a staircase to the downside here. So that's when it looks interesting to start thinking of a larger range bouncy structure. Not as soon as the price drops with high volume. We want to try and avoid longing against longing here. Without a doubt, you want to see it slow down a little bit, then you would say, okay, I'm happy to enter a long position, right? So let's go through the comment section, see what the legends are saying. Let's see if we do hit some of these levels. Not much volatility after the news on the New York Open. Very slow market, very rangy. We're not even getting 1% moves in this area. Very small little zone. I want to see the highs being taken or actually come down to the VWAP and the golden pocket from this recent move up, because in this scenario it's either going to be look for the SFP from this pivot high or from the order block right over here on the 5 minute. That lower high right there, we've got the candlestick here with a high volume, the bottom of the candlestick. So that is the rejection point where we have the golden pocket as well as a, you know, a decent level. It's a decent level. Order block on the 5 minute, golden pocket. This would be looking for an interesting rejection down. You know, small 1 to 2% move down to the VWAP with the potential of coming to hit the lows. But it would be more of an internal scalp eventually. I would be targeting the VWAP, which is climbing up here on that rejection. Yeah, that's basically the zones. I would speculate on a scalp long here. Let's see if we do hit that level. Hopefully, we do hit it on the live, and see how we react to it. Well, we have the daily open today, which has already got a bounce. Daily open, quick move down beneath it, back above it with the session VWAP, which has been acting as support today. I would say a double test is an option. Especially because we have the 0.88 here. This is rare for a wave 1, 2. 0.88 is rare for a wave 2. And also when we go through the lower time frame, we have a bit of a 3-wavy move to the downside. I mean, this is very, very low time frame, but overall, I would class this movement down as a 3-waver. And I think there's a good chance, the probabilities at least, considering this local structure, that we do take out 87.8k. Let's go through the comment section, see what the legends are saying here in the comment section. Andy, what do you think about ICP, its support price now? Whew, ICP, shall we take a look at ICP? Why not? My goodness, ICP. I'm literally, not taking a look at altcoins, guys. Altcoins, I'm focusing mainly on Bitcoin, looking for Bitcoin trade setups. And that's, you only need one market, right, to try and make some gains. I'm not too interested here on altcoins, as a lot of the people know. I have a spot bag, but we can take a look at ICP, see what's going on here. Big movement down, pump and dump here. This was I did manage to exit. Okay, got almost my money back. Almost, I didn't sell at a profit just to have a free bag basically of ICP. So this is, an exit pump basically, right? We got the exit pump. I was down significantly on this altcoin, something like 30k. I did buy, almost just more than about almost $60,000, guys, of ICP between $5 and $6 throughout 2025. And yeah, then I was in a loss for, I don't know what was the maximum, but almost 30k down here on this drop. And as soon as I had the chance here, I had to sell some of the bags because, just wanted to stick at break even and hold a free bag right now. So right now, ICP at support, man, I am not going to do analysis on ICP. It is true that we are at this consolidation right there on ICP, which is probably going to get some support. It is slowing down into this region. Yeah, without a doubt, we have that high volume node here. But how the market is at the moment, I'm literally not too interested. We're literally at the point of control of this zone on ICP, but this is heavily downtrending still. But yeah, that's the first major support, weekly naked point of control here at $3, literally, which is currently where we're at. You could get a little bounce here, throughout the next coming days. Not interested, guys, on altcoins, mainly interested in trading Bitcoin. So yeah, let's see. Bitcoin almost about to hit those highs. It's the local probabilities at the moment to hit those highs again, continue this uptrend momentum till it doesn't, right? Let's see how we get into the next resistance zones. We got the double top possibility from those highs. It is a little bit of a sniper trade. And if we break through it, we got the 5-minute order block high at 88.2k, which is with the golden pocket. That could get a quick rejection if this does not double top here at the high. you really need to go level by level here when we're trading, because yeah, I would have, if I don't have the knowledge, I would speculate, well, this is the high, guys, right? This is the 3-wave structure. That's it. We're rolling over. But you need to understand, based on the information that we have here, this movement down is very 3-wavy. You get a wick up to 0.88 Fibonacci, and you're getting local bullish CVD divergence. I mean, look at Bybit. Bybit are going absolutely bananas here with shorts. I mean, well, there's low liquidity at the moment on Bybit US dollar. 3 million, 2 million, 2 million. There's lots of shorts entering here, which is forming those bullish CVDs, right? You're getting higher lows and lower highs, lower lows, sorry. And, the probabilities on the chart are to take out those local highs here. So that's when you need to be defensive. If you've shorted, you need to treat it as a scalp. You need to take profit, right? Just realizing that the probabilities are actually to take out these local highs, right? So it's just with that understanding, you realize that this is probably not the swing short that you're looking at to come and claim the lows, at least not yet, purely based on the information that we have here, right? And I think it's pretty crucial to understand that, because people would just say we're hitting the support resistance flip here, and this is the high, and we're going to roll over from here. This is the ABC. Well, when you're actively trading, you need to understand that this price action that we formed in the last hour, 2 hours more than an hour, has a higher probability that you're going to take out that high. So it's not in your interest here to be in a big short, at the moment, realizing that there's a good chance that you take out the highs. Maybe get into a new one on an SFP, and if you did short, you need to aggressively take profits, right? Which is what I did on this movement. And you have a small position or protect position or small stop loss. So let's see how we take out those highs right over there. Let's go through the comment section. Byron, my man, thanks for joining the stream. Much love to you, my man. Andy, will give you an edge on trading. He goes through a lot of scenarios which can be confusing to many, but it's based on probabilities. If you are an investor, look at liquidity and macro signals. Very true. It's more of trading. Right? And when to take decisions and not take them. It's just like this recent move that we've just had right now on Bitcoin, right? So if the probabilities are higher when we look at the 3-minute to take out these local highs, you understand that you don't want to be in a big position here at the moment in a short until you take out the highs and you either SFP. Yes, of course, the price could roll over from here, and you're like, oh damn, I thought we were going to take out the highs, but it's all probabilities, right? As said, of course you can, still form a lower high here and roll over, but with the local price action, it does suggest that we do take out these local highs at some point, right? At some point. Doesn't have to be now. It might be later. Might get a move down and then up. This is why I come into the VWAP daily open point of control of golden pocket from this move up was an interesting scalp scenario. It's kind of catching the wick, right? Getting a move down, boop, enter, and then you look like protect position already, right? You get the deal. Scalping is a different world eventually. I much prefer chilled day to swing trading at the moment throughout the last few years. But when you understand you know, because a lot of people would be, you know, a lot of people are interested in taking a short eventually and continuing the downtrend momentum, looking to take out $80,000, right? I'm interested eventually as well, right? Any shorts to be taken on these bounces, we want to take them. We want to take shorts if we're downtrending, but it's crucial to understand how we're bouncing, right? How are we bouncing, and how, you know, obviously you're looking for levels of rejection, but you know, if you enter a short, say that you're entering here, because I would class this as an acceptable level to short this wick to the upside that we've had today, because, you know, you would say you got this movement up, okay, you got a higher low right there, okay, that's all good. The next high is taken here, so you got a 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. You could speculate that the fifth wave is coming in here into the 50% Fibonacci. You know, you're literally finding out the fifth wave of the possible C wave. And, you know, without a doubt, I would say, yeah, I mean, I'm interested in shorting the fifth wave here. You're going to give a bit of room for stop, and you want to look for the move down to take out the lows. But unfortunately, you know, you need to see how you move down here. And with this price action, as explained on the 3-minute time frame, or the 1 minute even, right? And I mean, this is like really going into very, very strong detail. You get the rejection, right? Rejection, a triangle or whatever, sideways momentum, and then the move down. This movement down, you wanted follow through, and then a correction and another move down. 5-wave structure, brilliant. That's looking pretty solid to continue to the downside. However, you got a 3-wave move down. This moment already getting into this territory already gives you a higher probability to take out this high at some point, because this 3-wave down, you know, did not succeed as a 5-wave structure. This already is giving you probabilities to take out this high at some point later on. And then obviously, to give a bit of more confirmation, is hitting the 0.88 from this pivot, right? We're just about to take out those highs at the moment. So, you know, some other people would just say, I'm going to short here. Let's see how we react at this zone. Let's see how we get into a reaction here. Let's see. For the moment, we are maintaining above those highs. We are maintaining above. No SFP, no quick wick. We are staying above the level. As long as we're above the level, not interested. Anyway, just we always like to give those little hints, those little tips, right, on why we were trading in this zone. I would class this as a, you know, difficult longing area. Would have been nice to get a movement down to the VWAP, to the golden pocket of this move, then take out the highs, look for a long in this zone, stop loss here. No shorts here, unfortunately. We are maintaining above the high. We need some kind of a rejection from that pivot. That means we go to the level 2, next level, next zone. And obviously, if you break that zone, then, you know, then off we go, guys. maybe this is a double 1-2, and if price just breaks the levels and continues to the upside with no reaction, no rejection, then we go higher. You need to have levels. You need to have a strategy. You need to have levels as guidelines. Right, so I have some levels of guidelines here. I have the order block here on the 5-minute. That's the next level. So if we do not get a reaction at this pivot high, I want to go to the next level, which we are coming into potentially right now in the next coming minutes. Why this level is interesting is it's because it's also the golden pocket from the highs of yesterday to the lows. Golden pocket, the most respected Fibonacci retracement from a movement, from a wave. It's coming into 88.2k zone. Let's see. Little order block on the 5 minute. Could be a level of reaction. Right, small consolidation, lower highs. Interesting area. If you break through that level, then higher we go. If the price taps the level, gets a little reaction, I'm happy to take the chance for a scalp. Entry zone on the rejection. If the price breaks through the zone, order block, golden pocket, you know, I'm not interested. We go higher. Right, it's all about taking the action. Knowing when to take the action is very important, right? Very important. We need to preserve our capital, protect our capital at all costs. And I know it looks very lucrative to look for a short eventually, right? You're saying, you know, we want to short the bounces, right? This is where you want to short in a downtrend when you have these aggressive moves to the downside. Right, you want to, well, this is not much of a bounce really, but you want to try and get into the bounces, right? You want to short the bounces to continue the momentum down. So I do get that this is a zone that is very lucrative. Obviously, to look for the shorts, you know, then you have the other scenario, which is, you know what, I'm happy with a, you know, 2-to-1 risk to reward. I'm going to enter a short here. My stop loss is at 90k. You know, screw the scalping. and just go with this shot, right? Obviously managing risk still, right? You're risking 1% to maybe gain 1.5 to 2%, right? It's another chilled way of trading, but you could say that. I like to be very specific with my entries, because obviously that could give me a much better risk to reward, right? Depending on an SFP or you know. You know, I like to take a look at the 15-minute time frame to look for the entries, right? It just gives you a very good entry. It could give you a bigger risk to reward. Some people just don't have the time eventually, but if you are like me, that you're in front of the computer a lot, then this is eventually, you know, the ideal scenario. But if you don't have time, you realize that a multiple 1-2 here is on the cards. You know, this would have to be your scenario to short, but I have to say this is disturbing that we moved down. I don't like this movement down here as a 5 waver, guys. I don't like it as a 5. You know, it's actually from this low. Let's go right over here. Let's see. We got previous day value area high. It's such a nice level here at 88.2 to 88.3. Got 5-minute order block. Previous day value area high. I like it. Previous day value area high is good. I like previous day value area high levels, or previous day value area low for a bounce. You have the golden pocket as well from the highs of yesterday to the lows. It's just a good zone. It's a good zone for a rejection. I mean, let's see if we do hit it in the next coming minutes. If you break above it, then, you know, I'm not shorting in this area. Just so you know, I need to tap the level and then, you know, execute the short. That's where I want to get into the trade setup. So waiting patiently for that, guys. Let's see. Let's go through the comment section and say hello to the beautiful community and see what's going on. I'm going to set some alerts here. I'm going to set an alert here at the highs and go through the comment section. I'm Andy Fanboy. Jerome, much love to you, my man. Thank you for joining. Much love to you, brother. CMRP, not even close. Maybe for short-term, few percentage bounce. Steve, what's going on? Bottom is in. maybe short-term bottom. CMRP is saying here, no chance. No chance, not even close. Everyone is scared and looking for shorts. It's obvious we will go up from here, leaving everyone behind. I have to say, you know, the chance is there, and the ultimate confirmation, as explained today. Oh my goodness, let's get this out of the way. The ultimate confirmation is hitting 90k. If we hit 90k, we're not too far away. It's a $2,000 move. It's very optimistic at this point. This movement down, there's two options, okay? Of course, there's two options, because even with the multiple 1-2 scenario, okay? Even with the multiple 1-2 scenario, even with this 1-2, 1-2, 1-2, you have that contracting diagonal, right? Which is for the bullish case, for this flat structure. However, there is a chance for this, instead of this, you know, obviously finishing a WXY, and we're looking for 1-2, 1-2, 1-2, you could still have this contracting diagonal as your wave 1. You form a 3-wave structure in your wave 2, and then you break in a 3rd wave later on. We do not know that. There is the chance of forming the zigzag up, get above 95k, even to 100k levels, or there is the finished correction contracting diagonal. You know, we hit 90k plus. Oh my goodness, it's bullish. Well, I mean, this is the level this is the correction that we want along, because this could either break out, get above 95k, or it could be a 3-wave corrective structure, which we eventually will look at throughout the next coming, you know, days if this does develop. And then obviously say, guys, there's high probability that, you know, we're going to roll down from here. You know, that's it. But we'll figure this out. We'll figure this out in the next coming days on a higher time frame. For the moment, it's not very relevant. But anyway, it's interesting to see the discussion here from the people. Okay, which is very, very nice indeed. How do you know the bottom is in? For the moment, multiple 1-2s is leading the way. Oh man, we missed that lower high by a hair. Yeesh, man, we missed the lower high by a hair right there. It would have been nice to get up there to that lower high. Come on. Ay, la puta madre. We missed it by a hair. Would have been nice to sweep that order block on the 5-minute, those highs right there, which is, you know, hitting the golden pocket as well, just for a solid entry and very, very good risk management. Man, we missed it by, you know, $40. This entry right now, not liking it. I'm not liking it. I am not liking it. Not liking this 3-wave move up to get into a short here right now. Where are we at as an SFP? I don't like. I mean, if we would have come up from this zone, right, like this. If we would have come up like this, I would have, you know, taken the chance, even though the wick is a little bit long here, to get into an entry and a stop loss here, to then maybe look for the roller, you know, a longer move down. But the fact that we've moved up like this, very, very three wavy from this pivot low. You know, I'm not liking it, guys. I'm not liking it. I don't like to short a third wave. You know, especially if we haven't hit the major zone of interest that I have here. Would have been an awesome entry, of course, if we would have wicked, you know, $50 more. Good entry, good stop loss. Can be very defensive, very, very small stop. But we missed it by $40 or so. So, you know, it's not a valid entry for me. If we would have moved up here like this, I would have been a little bit more confident in taking this short here right now. Because, you know, you literally have a 5-wave move to the upside, right? As per the drawing. But that is not the case. You know, I would have been happy for this for a stop loss. Managing risk, because I obviously would be, you know, looking for a bigger risk to reward. So you don't need to go absolutely crazy. The good thing about this is that you don't need to go too crazy. People risk too much in trading. That's the common mistake. Risk a few peanuts here to take the chance to get a 5-to-1, 6-to-1 risk to reward. And if we would have moved like this, I would have taken this chance. Why not, guys? We've got a nice 5-wave move up from this correction. Would have been, you know, a bit to have a little bit more confidence. But the fact that we moved up in a 3-wave structure, you know, it's just I don't like it too much. Higher time frame, we are coming into the highest volume 15-minute candlestick, which is also very, very common to get the reaction. 15-minute candlestick, highest amount of volume right there is this candle, right? That's the big volume right there is from this candlestick. Usually does provide a bit of a barrier. That's what's happening right over here at this moment. Let's see if we do get one more wick up to get to that order block on the 5-minute. Would be nice. Would be nice. Would be nice to get to that order block and the golden pocket. Yeah, golden pocket not even hit. Let's see. Nice little scalp for the day. Let's see if we get it. Let's see if we get that high being taken. The alert is there. Let's go. I think it will just touch it and drop to 87k. Maybe. Yeah, it's more of a scalp. We're kind of uptrending today, right? Today's been a bit of rangy uptrending momentum. As you say, we might tap that order block high with the golden pocket, and you know, this would be just for a scalp. You're still forming higher lows, but I would treat it as a possible day trade short. You know, I would leave some open to come down and claim 85.2k. Remember, guys, you know, this is very, very choppy price action. You know, if we can get into a solid entry with good risk management, a good level, right? You know, we need to have guidelines. This is my guideline. You can have another one, right? But my guideline is that 5-minute order block, lower high with the golden pocket. There are some red flags. There are some red flags for this not to do this. Okay, and that is the movement down. I mean, this is why you need to take into. I would only treat it as a scalp. The moment I get a 2-3 to 1 risk reward, I'm like, yeah, down to the VWAP, down to the daily open. I'm like, I'm gonna get out. You know, maybe this decides to continue the uptrend structure, and then, you know, we get a pop here out of nowhere. I'm like, well, this was a multiple 1-2, right? And I would treat it as a scalp really only, because the fact that the latest move down, guys, and this is super important as well to understand, the latest move down that we've had from the highs of yesterday, right? Because this was the highs, right? You're getting the momentum to the downside, which is the latest bounce, this one, which is the latest move down from the latest lower high. It's from this point. And this is the move that I'm interested in. You know, what happened here? And man, the fact that we did not claim these lows is very, very disturbing. You know, giving the potential of converting this into a 3-wave move. So, I mean, if we would have taken out this low, I mean, absolutely golden, right? 5-wave structure. We're looking for all of this to, you know, be a possible correction. We could be more confident in the swing short here, saying impulse down, corrective bounce. You know, I'm swing shorting down to the lows, the local lows anyway here. But the fact that we've, you know, that we've did not claim that low here, because this is perfect. Wave 4, come on, wave 4, and then claim the low. Perfect. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. But the fact that we did not claim that low, you know, it just, you know, this is why you would give the chance to the bulls. You would give the chance. I don't like this as a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm not considering this the 4th wave. It's very small. So it's making my eyes bleed a little bit based on this movement not claiming the low as an impulse. And giving the possibility for that 3-way structure. And yeah, this is just something that is a little bit disturbing. This is why, yeah, I would leave some open eventually if we do reject from this high. That's the level that I'm watching, waiting patiently. You know, if we were to reject from that pivot, which is the highest confluence zone, at least for me, what I see right now on the chart. Golden pocket from the recent highs to the lows, 5 minutes order block. You know, I would trade it down to the session VWAP. Trade it down to the session VWAP. Just maybe could form another higher low. But I would definitely leave, you know, take profit, leave some open, protect position. Just in case the price, you know, decides to take out the low eventually. We are downtrending. Let's not forget that. So eventually I would be aggressive taking profit. But I would leave some open. I would leave some open eventually, just considering the downtrend that we're in, right? So anyway, let's go through comment section, see what's going on, guys. Remember that you do got some great perks, okay? You can see it down beneath me here, guys. You can see it. Okay, for bluffing, you got some great deals, okay? $1,000 deposit bonus. If you deposit $7,000, you're getting $1,000 on top of that, guys, for your trading activity. Check out the link down below. It's the first link, okay, for bluffing, guys. You can see it down here. Another way to support the channel. Devil, my man. Hi, Legends. Devil, how are you doing, brother? Go and check out Devil, guys. Click here and make sure to follow Devil Trading as an absolute legend, guys. The education that this man provides is from another world. Trust me, better than me. I would be happy to say that. Much love to you, Devils. Thanks for joining the stream. Byron, my man, 2-3 week bottom and 2-3 month bottom are very different. Another government shutdown likely coming in January. Liquidity expansion starting. QE likely at Q2 of 2026. ISM PMI needs to break 50 a few months away. Man, I hope that we do get Bitcoin coming down below $80,000. I mean, that for the moment is the priority from the downtrend. Okay, we are downtrending. This does look corrective. Even though we would see that larger double zigzag, you would still look at a zigzag here, corrective zigzag, maybe gets above 100k, but ultimately looking for a larger correction also in the next coming months. There is priority to get below 80k for the moment. Test those lows. I am going to buy some Bitcoin. Me personally, I'm going to buy some. I only sold 25% of my Bitcoin holdings. But I don't like sitting on cash, guys. Obviously cash is trash, right? Cash is toilet paper. And as Byron is saying, quantitative easing, right, entering into 2026 Q2, I think he mentioned Q1, Q2. We know that interest rates are coming down. Quantitative easing is very much a possible, likely into 2026. It would be nice to get a bit more of a crash on assets, right? They're saying that this crash is going to be different. You're going to see not only a crash in markets, you're also going to see hyperinflation. So it's going to be, you're going to lose whatever you hold, right? Inflation and assets going down. So you're going to lose whatever happens, no matter how diversified you are, right? Which kind of doesn't make sense, but holding gold, Bitcoin, I guess. And this is why if we do get back below $80,000, I'm going to start DCAing in. I'm happy to buy Bitcoin below 80k, 70, 60, 50. I'm going to start buying below $80,000. I'm happy, but I'm not happy holding significant cash. We are downtrending. We've already got a major correction down of 35%. Coming down below 80k would bring it to 40%. I mean, yeah, that's already a pretty good discount. I do know that Bitcoin will hit all-time high again in the future. So it all depends on how you play the game here, right? Andy, will you set limit orders at 80k? Yeah, potentially for spot buying, I will. We are pump dumping, says Applenge. Yes, we are. You should try futures. It's more exciting. Futures trading. Well, I mean, this can be as exciting. Just want to get the levels to be hit. It would have been nice for an intraday scalp long here. However, I need to I need to stick with my guns. I need to stick with levels of confluence strategy. The probabilities were higher as explained on the stream, right? Who's been here since the beginning mid time of the stream? We just talked about local price action here. The probabilities were higher to take out these highs, and it would have been nice to get a little bit of more of a dip here just to get a better entry into the VWAP, double tap VWAP for the day. It would have been nice. It's just a scalp long, right? It's just a scalp long to the highs, literally giving a 2-3 to 1 risk to reward. It would have been nice. The probabilities were higher to hit the highs as explained in today's video update. The problem is entering here is not giving you a bit of great risk to reward, even though it depends on how you're trading here, because you could have entered with 0.5%, and then if you get that dropped into the VWAP, you add another 0.5 to lower your entry, and then you got your 1% here to possibly gain your 2 to 2.5%, right, as you hit the highs. That's what I would have preferred here. And now what I prefer is eventually this disturbing order block right over here. That's the pivot high that I want the price to hit, which is eventually with the golden pocket, right? It's just the confluence area where I know the price could get a correction. So I need to remain patient until we get up there. The alert is set. Very, very slow movements, unfortunately. This is the only movement that we've had throughout the stream. So maybe the S&P 500 or the Nasdaq has got a little bit of more local volatility today. Not that much. Testing highs, testing lows. No, interesting. Interesting. Oh, that's a beauty. That's a beauty right there. We did just slightly tapped, if I'm not mistaken, those highs. On the NASDAQ. Little bit of an internal range SFP territory here on the NASDAQ. But yeah, NASDAQ hasn't got much. A bit of internal volatility, but tapping lows and tapping highs. Internal SFPs here. Sweep the highs, sweep the lows. Not too much of a movement. Anyway, Bitcoin coming up to the level of interest. Let's see, guys. Let's see if we do get the reaction here. I'm only interested in a local correction if we do SFP from that 5-minute order block with the golden pockets. Just a scalp entry, just to get a little bit of a few movements. There is the bullish case scenario on the higher time frame. The alert is set. Okay, I will get the alert ding-a-linging if we do take out those highs and that order block. The alert is set, so there is the chance for the bullish case, just to get bulls excited, that, you know, comes all the way up to 95k in the next 1 to 2 weeks. It's that zigzag, flat, zigzag to the upside. Unless you longed yesterday at lower prices, it's very difficult with this choppiness, okay, to consider any long positions, at least in my opinion. Unless you longed here at the VWAP today. There was a VWAP slap here. Tap with the daily open. A bit of a sniper trade right there. Reclaim of the VWAP, stop loss. Interesting entry. The multiple 1-2 here. You would have to see volume kicking in here for that wave 3. But unless you longed in this region, which is the slowdown throughout yesterday, well, it was starting to slow down here. That's the interesting area to swing long. And unless you form a higher time frame 5-wave structure, which would be in this case a 1-2, 1-2, you know, you start breaking out here and then you 4-5, 4-5, right? That's what you want to see. A big volume breakout, get exhaustion here at the highs. I would be interested in shorting, guys, if that were to be the case. But I would ultimately be interested in looking for longs. So short into a long, and this would be the kind of price action that I want to see developed in the next couple of days, right? Get a pop with volume, get above those lower highs, and then get exhausted here, because we would have to label this as a couple of 1-2s, big breakout, choppiness here, just sweeping up that liquidity. A couple of SFPs will happen here, but it will chop till you get the movement down. And then here into the 50% golden pocket zone is what we are detecting, right? We'll check the supports tomorrow to look for a long opportunity. So it will be a short trade into a long trade. More as a day trade swing perspective, this could take 1 to 2 days, at least the short, and then the long might take a few more days because it might actually go to higher levels. But this is the bullish case scenario, and this is how I would like to see the price action develop. And you know, unless you try to catch this uptrend momentum today, either the VWAP, you know, obviously you're taking some profits, but you're leaving some open for the double 1-2. I mean, the only chances were yesterday in this area after getting the slowdown, after the big volume move, right? You get the point, right? You get the 1-2s, the big volume move, and then you slow down here. and there's two options: 3-wave structure, right, and then you reverse, or you're looking for the 5-wave. The thing is, what is disturbing about this 3-wave move to the downside, this potential 3-wave move down, this 3-wave down, the thing that is disturbing about this is an ending diagonal, right, in a 33333, right, contracting diagonal, not this one that was invalidated. This one right over here. This would have to turn into a 3-wave structure, correction in wave 2. This is a double zigzag where you have a zigzag, correction, and another zigzag move down in your wave 3. So you'd have to fit in here a double zigzag. Quick wave 4, that's perfect. Your wave 4 has to be smaller eventually than your wave 2. And then here, as explained, you do have that chance for this to be a 3-wave down. I mean, let me just clean up the chart here 1 second. There is that chance that from that wave 4, you know, you got the movement down, the bounce, the lower high, and then a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, very small. But it looks very 3-wavy. Right, it's A, B, and C. I mean, this is an independent wave, in my opinion, anyway. Here, and it looks very 3-wavy. The fact that we did not dead cat bounce and claim the low again for a 5-wave move down makes me doubt a little bit that you know, we're looking for a lower high here in this region. If we would have claimed the low here, absolutely, why, you know, I would be more confident for a lower high in this region to then roll over. If we would have claimed a low, to have that 5-wave move down here. But the fact from the highs of yesterday that we have this, this, and this, and we have a higher low, you know, I have to let you know that this could be a 3-wave structure, and you know what we are doing right now is building bullish momentum to get the pop. Of course, you know, it is complex to get into these long positions because the chart is telling you that the momentum is bearish, right? The momentum, the trend is bearish. So you would believe that a lower high here is, right, it has to happen. You're downtrending. But, you know, here's where the trap happens on this movement down. That's where the trap happens. You know, this could be very much a 3-wave structure. And obviously, that's when you zoom out and you understand, hang on a minute. Diagonal, ending diagonal, 3, 3, 3, 3, 3. It's a pattern that is developed with 3 waves on each single wave, all of the 5 waves. And as this last move down, you know, started from this zone of yesterday, this lower high, you know, you can fit a 3-wave down here. You had a missing wave to finish an impulse. So that's where the you know, that's where the trap is born. The trap is born here. So you know, eventually it's just something that I'm cautious about. You know, you are aware of that situation, even though this looks horrendous. This movement up looks horrendous. You know, you need to be very optimistic that you could be forming multiple 1-2s here, to literally pop out, right, in a third wave. You know, between today and tomorrow, and then the choppiness here. This would be an interesting area for shorts. If you do get that pop with high volume, you know, we're gonna label this as an impulse. Once we get that exhaustion here, you need the gap with high volume, and then the choppiness. Then we're looking for a reversal, guys. Right? You know, tomorrow might be, you know, if it were to develop like this, the shorts would be. Tomorrow would be a day to look for shorts. if we were to get that move up into this zone, sweep up the liquidity from all of these lower highs, right? It's just a very, very common move here. And then once we swept those highs and we get that choppiness into this range in between 90 and 91k, you know, we would be looking for that reversal. Would be an interesting area to look for shorts, and at the same time shorts to take profit to then look for longs as we're labeling this as an impulse. And it's invalidating the bearish case eventually, which is multiple 1-2s. That's your third 1 and 2 scenario. So if you get above this lower high, especially forming that impulse, you know, the movement down is going to be very, very lucrative to look for longs. And you know, you will have that effect of, it's going to be very interesting because people would be looking to enter more shorts, right? You know, as you get that impulsive move developed, right, and you sweep up some liquidity, you end up after the third wave forming some 4-5s, right, and then you reverse. It's going to be like a double trap, because you know, potentially you're getting shorters entering the market at, you know, trying to look for a lower high in this region. They get stopped out at these lower highs, and then as you're rolling over, they jump into shorts, you know, believing that the price is just going to get that continuation down, right? It's just rolling over, which eventually has that sense to it, of course. But if you can detect an impulse here, you know, invalidating the multiple 1-2 setup, you know, this correction would be a long zone as well. You know, it's hard. They are relatively easy to detect if you don't have proper Elliott wave knowledge and realize that scenario is possible. You know, then you would be confused. You would be very, very confused on the movement, of course, because you were like, oh man, it did look like so much that it was just gonna break down. You broke the trend line, right? You get the deal, right? It just ends up being a fake out for any, you know, in simple terms. We would have to see that move up, though. We would have to see an impulse to even start thinking about this scenario, right? You need that 5-wave move to the upside and get to 90k to even think about the bullish outcome, because obviously for the moment that does not have priority, right? The priority is to take out the lows at the moment. The only thing is the latest move down is quite disturbing. This latest move down is disturbing. Not a very, very solid 5-wave move to the downside, I have to say. Anyway, we don't want to claim those highs by the looks of things. Let's see if we do, right? If we do break above those highs, I have to say, I'm kind of not interested. We got the fair value gap, guys. This is a little bit of a no trade zone. It's either SFPs from that 5-minute order block and the golden pocket just for an internal scalp short. Right, this is this trade that I'm looking at. It's only this, with the potential of coming down to the lows, but it's only a scalp trade. I understand it could only be a scalp. This is a no short zone because of the fair value gap. I think it's pretty obvious, and that's actually getting above the previous day value area high. When you take a look at today's levels, man, if you break this area, this is like the zone where it could get the pop. So naturally, this is the rejection zone. This is a no short zone. I want to be out of a trade if the price enters this territory, which is the fair value gap. There's not much resistance. So obviously, you know, SFPs from this zone is like the option. It's the strategy that I would have here. And if you pop out here with increasing volume, I would have to remain patient till tomorrow, eventually, till you actually slow down, right? You're looking for the slowdown here. Big volume in this move, then we could, you know, class this as multiple 1, 2, 3, 4, 5s into the liquidity pocket zone. And then obviously we're looking for the reversal. We're looking for double, triple tops in this area. And that's this would be the opportunity short, at least to the 382 Fibonacci from the low to the high, right? You're looking at least for a decent move down of a couple of $1,000 once you get this exhaustion. But I mean, let's say, you know, that's how I'm looking for the setups, right? The only internal scalp is this one that I have right now. So let's see, man, it's getting a little bit boring. It is getting a little bit boring, but the levels are the levels. So we need to respect the levels. We need to respect the strategy. Andy, did it break the resistance level near 87.5k to $86,000? Might provide support for longs. 86 might 86k might provide support for longs. Well, the 86k zone, I mean, unless you're looking at these highs of the range, right over here, which we kind of already got the support. I wouldn't be too interested here if we roll over to look for any longs myself. Best long trade here would have been at the daily open. You got the highs of the range, highs, daily open, VWAP. I mean, it's an aggressive entry as a scalp, right? It's just you break the VWAP, get above it, sniper trade, stop loss, and you're obviously looking for the possibility to take out this high. And the thing is, as we mentioned at the beginning of the stream, the probabilities locally were to hit these highs, purely based on, okay, for any people that are joining new here, because of this 3-wave down, right? This is like, it's the bread and butter, guys, of trading, I have to say, of understanding that this movement down after this movement up is not bearish. This move down and this bounce getting into this territory is, I understand that, I'm not interested in looking for shorts here. I know that there's a good chance that we're going to take out the highs. And the reason is simple. The reason is simple. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's what you want to see. If you get this bounce, then eventually, looking for shorts on a lower high could be interesting. A 50% golden pocket in this case, if you're speculating on a wave 2. But the fact that you move down 1, 2, 3, third wave did not get follow through. If you move up into the wave 2 territory, you're looking at a 3-wave corrective structure. Eventually, having higher probability to take out this high, especially if you get this high over here, hitting the 0.88. This is not a bearish impulse, right? I mean, just some little tips and tricks, right? Just in case, because you might have the mentality of, I'm going to short the bounce here, right? I want to short this bounce. And, that is just, you need to understand based on this movement down that the probabilities are higher to take this high. Right? So, anyway, just some little tips and tricks for the legends. No chance. What are you talking about? What's the reason to think it will go that low? Where to? See Marpy saying that we're down with little bounces, whole next year mostly down only. I don't know what you're talking about on uptrend, clear downtrend for the past 2 months to Alex. Yeah, I mean, we have to, obviously, this is the general downtrend. There's no doubt about it. Okay, we can talk about a bullish case scenario. We always need to talk about a bullish case, guys. Calm down. But the general trend is down from all-time high. It looks very impulsive till it doesn't. It looks very impulsive till it doesn't. We need to give it the different options on the higher time frame, right? Which is, hey, maybe we, the WXY, it's a possibility still. If it is possible, it is possible. If this does happen throughout the next coming weeks, well, we will understand that there was a possibility for this to happen, guys, right? It's just not something that I would say, we talked about this exactly as predicted. We'll be looking for the opportunities, right? If we hit 90k plus, as explained, we move in an impulsive structure, then the movement down is going to be the zone where, I would be happy to look for longs to take out the local highs and even, 95k plus. So, I want to position myself in the third wave, because market moves in waves. Market moves in either 3 waves or in 5 waves. So I need the first wave up to be confident about this scenario, because if not, obviously the bearish case has priority, right? It's just we're rolling down, right? We're moving down. This has priority for the moment. And it is what it is. But eventually, the market moves in 3 wavy moves, 5 wavy moves. This has been a very 3 wavy range. We talked about a short trade here. Not sure who remembers. This was back on the 30th of November. I remember like if it was yesterday, because we talked about the finished impulsive move here. We talked about an SFP as well. I mean, we always talk about different options. There's the SFP right there. We talked about this being a 1, 2, 3 or a A, B, C. And the fun fact about this, it was hitting the valley area high of this range, right? And that was the valley area high point of control into the 50% golden pocket zone. You want to fake out from the valley area high. That's your golden ticket. There was there was a countable impulsive move down here on the lower time frames. We did that on a Sunday update or Saturday update. I can't remember. It was Saturday or Sunday. But the detection about this lower high was we had reasons to believe that this was a possible independent wave. This was a correction. And then, throughout this pump, high volume here, we're literally looking at the 4-5 scenario. So if you have a 1, 2, 3 big volume, you're really looking for this. This is why the SFP was a good option. If you miss that SFP and you're looking for either, this to be the high in a 3-wave structure and you roll over, or you're looking for 1, 2 or 1, 2, it doesn't matter. You're looking for a 3-wave down at least at a bare minimum, right? And this is where it becomes really, really nice to look for the setups. When you understand that this could be a finished wave, you are looking here for either an ABC or a 1, 2, 3, right? 4, 5 or a long ABC, which was the case. And you want to get into this wave. That's the wave you want to participate in, right? That is the wave. The third wave is the one you want to get in, because it's mainly the most explosive wave. It's usually the biggest wave, the third one. Regardless if it's an A, B, C wave, the C wave is usually longer than the A wave. or the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, the third wave is usually the longest, right? Usually, right? We do have expanding wave 1s and expanding wave 5s on, rare occasions. Sometimes a wave C can be similar in size or even smaller than an A wave, but it's not common. Most common is the C wave is longer than the A wave, and the third wave is usually the longest in a 5-wave structure. So, eventually with that bullish case scenario here, if this bullish case, which is just locally, guys, it's getting above 95k, it's getting to 95k, maybe 100, who knows. It's detecting the first leg up, right? And that's what, literally we've been talking about on the higher time frame, where yes, we have this scenario. It's possible, right? You can count all of this as a zigzag move in W, your A, B, C flat, and the C wave is a contracting diagonal. It's all a lot of noise, but I'm not here to say I'm long in here because this is the scenario that's going to happen. I'm prioritizing the bearish case. We are downtrending. This could be the high, multiple 1-2s. But if we were to get above 90k and we can detect that impulsive move in the next coming days, I would be very, very happy to long this correction that could take a couple of days. We'll be paying close attention because then you get the big move out of nowhere, the third wave, right? The C wave, in this case, we would be looking at it as the C wave. We need to detect that first move, and then the correction. That's the zone we're going to be looking at. New levels of support, right? But eventually we need that pop up here in a 5-wave structure, which we do not have, right? And this is going to be very, very interesting eventually to look for the longs. That's the wave I want to be in. And this is only the confirmation, right? This is like long in here. This is like shorting here, right? It's got many differences. We talked about a short here, or just on the FOMC. I'm not sure if anybody managed to get into that short position, but my goodness, I did see some people leaving a comment. We were speculating here that the ABC flat had the highest probability, and this was looking impulsive down, and that a lower high, with my understanding, a lower high here was the highest probability. I did get people saying the next day that they entered some shorts in the live stream, because we could detect a 5-wave down here, and this was looking very, very corrective. Of course, you have the FOMC and you have that local volatility, but my goodness, a lower high here, and yeah, we did form that lower high, and eventually it's the 3-wave down, right? It's this wave you want to be in. It's this wave you want to be in, right? We got some Picasso drawing on that live stream. I pointed it out. Maybe it gets to the 7-8 Fibonacci and even the 0.88. You want to be in this wave. You don't know what the hell you're going to do here. You just don't want to rush into trades or anything. So yeah, it's going to take a few days to develop, if it is going to happen. And unless you longed yesterday at that local choppiness into the levels of support here, it's very, very hard to long at this moment. This choppy, overlappy structure on the 5-minute time frame. There's only local scalp entries, as explained throughout the stream, and the levels are the levels, guys. I respect the levels, and the only local level that I have here that I would be interested in is the recent highs, the 5-minute order block, the golden pockets. And it's important to understand that if you break that level, you got a fair value gap, right? This is a fair value gap that you could slice through. So it's getting choppy, it's getting overlappy. I would be interested here. It might be the one. It only gets a lower high, a higher low, or it might roll over. But it's a good entry. It's good confluence. It's good for a scalp. Good to scratch some dollars. And if you break above it and you don't SFP from it, then this area becomes dangerous because of the fair value gap, right? We don't like fair value gaps for any shorts because we know what happens when you cross, the fair value gap area where you don't leave any level of support or resistance, right? You got a gap right there. What happens? You slice it like a hot knife on butter, right? It just slices through. You got no support, no ranges. It's a slicing zone. So, obviously with that theory, you need to understand that, we got a bit of a slicing zone here where price could pump up very nicely, right? There's a gap here with nothing happening. So this is a dangerous zone to add to shorts or any of that nonsense, right? That's going to get you wrecked. You either SFP from here and go down, or you break through. So the risk management is clear here. SFP, you got an entry, you got a stop loss. You're looking for a roll down. 2-to-1 risk to reward. You hit the session VWAP. You might bounce back up. You might roll over. Protect position, take some profits. If you don't SFP from there, you could really break through very, very nicely here from this fair value gap, right? And this is just it's just education, right? And we could just roll, go a few days before, and that's the simple explanation here as well, right? Where you have this fair value gap zone, right? It's just a zone where the price breaks through very, very easily. So that's the same explanation from this fair value gap. It either rejects at the golden pocket, rejects at the SFP of that 5-minute order block, or we move up, right? We move up. Let's go through the comment section. Man, my hair today is not looking too great. Nobody said anything. 88k range looks dangerous. Dangerous. 88k range looks dangerous. It does indeed. It does. Yeah, exactly. But it's a failure point as well. It is a failure point. The price either breaks out or rejects. Right? It's a breakout zone or rejection zone. This is why, it's lucrative to understand where the failure point is. And you have golden pocket. You have 5-minute order block. You have also here the 1 hourly closes, right? It's a support resistance flip. But the best option for me always is that SFP scenario. If you don't have a nice 5-minute order block right there, it's just the greatest one to enter with good risk management. Right, look no further. It's just the order block highs with the golden pocket, which is literally sitting there. So sometimes we get it, sometimes we don't. We need to remain patient. Much love to everybody. Thanks for joining today's stream, legends. It has been a long one. Not too much volatility, unfortunately. A little bit boring, but it's given us a little bit of time to speculate on the higher time frame scenarios. Obviously, the bearish case is the one that's leading at the moment. Eventually, what we would need to see to start believing that we could hit 95k plus is that impulsive move to sweep up that 90k level, right? And then the correction, that's the golden ticket zone, guys. We're looking for that 3-wave move to the upside to take out 95k plus. But we need the first leg up first, right? So we need that A wave and then the B wave, which we eventually do not have at the moment, but we could have it. The options are still there. The options are still there for this. Invalidation has not been hit at 84k. It's still an option. But, you know, obviously, you know, with this scenario, this is the area that I'm looking for longs, the correction after the move up. Let's see in the next coming days. For the moment, eventually the bearish scenario has priority, okay? But it's just interesting to look at the bullish case to take it into consideration. Let's go. Appreciate your insight, Andy. Much love, my man. Thank you very much for that kind comment. Much love. Andy, why you look only for a scalp here? Well, I've explained that. Why only a scalp? Yeah, I've explained that throughout the stream. The main reason why this would only be a scalp and why it would not be, I would leave some open if I could, you know, eventually I would leave some open, but I would only scalp it down to the session VWAP and be defensive. The main reason why is because from this high that we had yesterday, you have a lower high and then the rollover. And what did not follow here is a 4 and a 5. If this were to be the case, I would be a little bit more aggressive here to consider the swing short. I would literally, you know, be more aggressive to consider the swing short position if we would have had a 5-wave move down, which, you know, maybe we did have it, but I don't see it. I don't see it too clear. And the fact that we rolled here with high volume and we didn't get that wave 4 and then 5 claimed the lows is disturbing. You know, it could be a 3-wave move down. And a 3-wave move down here, we already hit the golden pocket or just about scratched it from that lower high. Oof. Yeah, it's literally invalidating a wave 4 here already. So the thing is, if you formed a 3-wave structure, you have a chance to hit the highs at 90k later on, right? Despite of whatever happens here, might be a multiple 1-2s, and then another higher low here, and then move up. But I just don't like it because of this structure, right? If this movement down would have had a 5-wave move down, I would have been more confident in a lower high in this region. The fact that we did not take out the low here, I cannot see an impulse down in this zone. Okay, so that's literally why I would only treat this as a scalp short. Yeah, it is disturbing. Okay, that could you fit in a wave 4 here? Man, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, man, that wave 4 is tiny, man. That wave 4 is very, very tiny. Not liking it, legends. Let's see what happens. Anyway, thank you very much for joining today, guys. You've been absolute legends. We saw major bananas after correction like this. Much love, Meme Cat. Much love to everybody, guys. Remember, if you want to support the channel, smash up the like button, leave a comment after the stream, check out the links down below. Okay, you got great perks and bonuses. You can see bluffing down below my face here, where you have up to $1,000 deposit bonus. If you deposit $7,000, you're getting $1,000 on top of that, guys, for your trading, which is absolutely phenomenal. And you got Velto as well, which is the decentralized option. Okay, Belto, decentralized platform. You just connect your wallet. You got a tutorial, okay? As soon as you click that link down below, okay, on the platform, you get a little tutorial on how to connect it. Legends, thank you very much for joining. Let's see what happens between today and tomorrow. We got scalping levels, scenarios, and I'll be back with an update tomorrow morning. Thank you, and I'll see you tomorrow.